Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ray Winans. I'm sitting here at East English Village High School on the east side of Detroit. I was born and raised in the city of Detroit. Over here operating our Dignity program. Today is Tuesday, October the 28th. We'll be mentoring and working with the young ladies today. Again, I got to be honest. I've never thought in a million years I'd be in the position that I'm in today. 20 years ago, if you would have told me that I'd be in a high school working with students to reduce and prevent violence, I would have laughed at you. Part of my story is when I was 12 years old, I started the gang. Unfortunately, by the time I was 15, I committed the crime of murder. I was tried as an adult, sentenced as a juvenile. As part of my life struggle, I was a hurt young man. My father was murdered when I was 9 years old. I strongly believe in the concept that hurt people hurt people. Growing up on the east side of Detroit, I was exposed to violence at a young age. Rather being a perpetrator of it or being a victim of it. When I was 13 years old, I got caught with a sawed-off shotgun in junior high school. I was in the 8th grade, and so therefore I was kicked out of all Detroit public schools. Never went to high school. After serving my sentence for my manslaughter case, I turned 18 when I was released. As a direct result of that, I still hadn't had enough for the streets. I ended up catching a drug case by the time I was 19. Served from 19 to 20. Came home when I was 20. By the time I was 21, back selling drugs. Went to the state penitentiary when I was 22. Came home when I was 25. Got indicted by the federal government at the age 25. Went in when I was 26. Came home when I was 30. Unfortunately, my past had caught up with me, but I had vowed that I wouldn't go back to the streets after I came home from federal prison. However, I was faced with a murder that I did not commit, but one of my friends did it, and I was trying to stick to the G code, never be a snitch. At that time, I didn't believe in God, though, and I actually made a deal with God, and the deal that I made with God was, God, if you help me out in this situation, I won't hurt people no more. I encourage people to do the right things. I work to keep young people out of trouble, and I believe in Jesus. 2 weeks after I made that deal with God, the person that committed the murder stepped up to the plate, let them know I didn't have anything to do with it. Ever since then, Jesus has been my main man. So what we did was we came over to East English Village. At the time, the emergency manager, Jack Martin, heard me speaking at a ceasefire event, and he asked me what would it take to get me into the schools. And I had the conversation. We hashed things out. The principal was on board with it. And we came in and formed Dignity. I'm also the community organizer for Ceasefire Detroit, which is a national gang intervention initiative that was funded by the U.S. Department of Justice. I work directly up under the leadership of Saul Green, who's a former U.S. Federal prosecutor. And so between Ceasefire and our Dignity program, I'm operating in passion. It's not money driven. It's passion. I get the opportunity to engage with students that I normally wouldn't have the opportunity to engage with and give them a sense of hope through my bad experiences. And so with that being said, I'm here working with the students, male and female, both. To some, I may be looked at as a father figure. To others, I may be looked at as a big brother. But the most important thing is being able to provide opportunities and expose them to things that they ordinarily wouldn't have the resources to be exposed to. I believe it's hard to see outside the hood when you're stuck in the hood. So some of the things that I explain to the students is you got to learn how to stand on the shoulders of giants. And it don't be for bragging rights or boasting rights, but it's more so to show them that if I can overcome the odds, then you can too. But rule number one is rule number one, and that rule is take all the excuses off the table and give yourself a fair chance. Once you do that, then you can go to rule number two, which is don't put the limits on yourself by limiting your God. Never put limits on God. If you take the limits off of God, then you can achieve and accomplish anything that you want. Rule number three, most important as well, is rule number 1 and 2. Learn from everybody. Learn what not to do. Learn what to do. You can learn a lot from a dummy. Rule number 4, read as much as you can. I don't care what it is. Read, because whatever it is you want to be in life, you have to read your way through it. And the reason why reading is so fundamental to me is because I didn't develop the ability to read until I was 21, while I was in prison. Now all I do is read. I give out books. I'm actually working on my book now. I started doing my documentary. But reading. What was we at? Rule number 4. So rule number 5. Always be ready and make it look easy. When I say always be ready and make it look easy, always be ready to go impromptu. Know your craft. Know what it is. Stay in your lane. Don't look at what other people is doing. Focus on what you know your talent is. My thing is, God has given me a talent. The talent that God has given me is my mouth. So therefore, I take my experiences, articulate the things that I've been through, and I operate in that gift. Who am I to bury it? You know, and I tell I let the students know, if you follow them rules right there and let the principles guide you, everything else is easy. I realized that violence is not just a city problem. It's not a Detroit problem. This is an international problem. And so one of the things that we've been strategic with doing as far as our strategy is partnering with different organizations that's doing amazing work. So what we decided to do was come up under the umbrella of Team Pursuit. That gives us the opportunities to create and increase our network. We're networking with more organizations that we ordinarily wouldn't have access to. We're being exposed to other people that's doing the work. Because again, this is not just a Detroit problem. This is not just a United States of America problem, but this is an international problem. So to find out more information about the work that we're doing and to get involved, you can go to www.teampursuit.org. Click on the community page, see some of the community partners, check out Keeping Them Alive on there, learn more about the Dignity Program. And again, we'll be looking forward to it. And if you want to reach out to us, it's a way that you can get involved, and we'll most definitely get back with you as soon as possible. Thanks.